Hi, I'm Anne from Game Like a Mother. Today I'm going to share an overview and review of Canvas. It's ages 14 and up, 1 to 5 players, and it takes 20 to 30 minutes depending on how many people you're playing with. Let me show you how to play. The goal of the game is to get the most points. You get points by, over the course of the game, you will be collecting these cards one at a time. And once you have 3 or more in your hand, 3 to 5, you get to take 3 of them, stack them in whatever order you like, place them in one of these backing sleeves, and then you will score the card according to the rules that you have set out for the game. Here I have set up a 2-player game. You are going to first put out the canvas mat in the center of play, and you can use any 4 of the scoring cards to play, but highly recommend using the recommended first time playing cards, which are these 4 out here. On the back of the rule book, they have a bunch of different scenarios you can set up for a family game or a bonus game that's has the more strategic rules in play. But first time through, highly recommend using these ones. The other rule cards, if you are unsure about what the rules mean on that card, they have a nice explanation on the back of each of the cards, which is really helpful. Then you put out all of the ribbons for each rule above the rule, and you're going to shuffle up the art cards, put them in this little box, and put out the first 5. Each player is going to get background cards. You get to pick 3. The color does not matter. It's just whatever color you think will be pretty behind your art creations. And then each player gets 4 inspiration tokens. The player who painted most recently would take the first turn, and then you take turns in a clockwise manner after that. We'll say it's this player. All you do on your turn is you either take an art card or complete a painting. You cannot complete a painting until you have at least 3 cards. So for your first turn, you can either take this card at the end for free, or you can pay an inspiration token to take one further along. So if you're skipping a card, you put an inspiration token on it, and then you can collect a card. We'll say they're going ahead and doing this. And then after that, you scoot down the cards above it and take a new card out of the box, and it's the next player's turn. On their turn, they can do the same thing. They could pay to skip the first card that would have been free, but then if they take this one, they take any inspiration tokens on it. So that's it. You just keep on going. This person can choose to take this one, move them along, and this person's turn, they'll say they're just taking a freebie one, and that's the whole gameplay. And all you're doing is, we'll say this player pays for this one, move these along. This player, these are the only inspiration tokens you get, so it just kind of goes back and forth. And if you run out of inspiration tokens, then you have to take the one on the very end. You cannot take any of the other ones further along. Now, at this point, this player has a choice. They have 3 cards. They can continue to go until they get to 5 cards. If they have 5 cards in their hand, and these can either be a secret, you can keep them so people can't see them, or you can just leave them out. We usually hold them so people can't see them. Once you get to 5 cards, you cannot have any more than that in your hand. So you are required to complete a painting on your turn if you have 5 cards. If you choose to complete a painting, this player is going to go ahead and do that. You can rearrange these. See, if you flip them, some of them on this, they only have the yellow that doubles up, but they can choose to have it behind or in front. They're going to have it in front here. You slip it into the backing card of your choice. If you are completing a painting, you are not selecting a card on that turn. And when you complete a painting, you then put it in the sleeve and collect ribbons for the shapes and colors that you have on your painting. So, scoring the card, they don't have variety. They don't have one of each kind of symbol on their card. They do have repetition, 2 triangles. They do have emphasis, exactly one of the colorful spots, and they have composition. They have one of each. And the gray tokens are special. Those are if you have a card like this, I'll put it on a backing so it's a little easier to see, where they have the silver symbol there, and it says per, and it will have a different symbol for which kind of shape it's going for. And then if you have those on your card, you score one of these per those. It's pretty straightforward. So they didn't have that, but that's how you score that. And so you continue. The game ends when everybody has completed 3 paintings. Each have to have 3 cards in them. And for scoring, if you ended up between your 3 paintings, if you ended up with 2 of these red ribbons at the end, your score then would be 8 plus, if they had 3 of these green, it would be 8 plus 11, plus if they had 3 blue, plus another 11, 2 of purple. So you just slide along here, your total number of ribbons, you add up the values, and then whoever has the most is the winner. So that's how to play Canvas. The target demographic for this game is, it is a strategic family level game for people who love clear cards, which apparently we do because we are super into this right now. The rule complexity is medium. They do a really nice job of kind of easing you into the game with a recommended set of rules, and then the basics of the game is just, collect 3 cards, stick them together, and see how they score for the rules you have up. But then the rules you can add in are a little more complex, and you can consult what they say on the back. So you're like, okay, what does this mean exactly? Oh, okay, I have to have it paired up like this. So there's a fair amount of thinking involved in this game, especially as you add in the more strategic rules, which is good and adds to the game. It really matters that the rules switch up so it doesn't just become okay every time people go for the triangles because you want to score for that. So clearly those are the best cards. So I really like switching it up. Helps this game remain fun and interesting. How competitive is this game? Medium. Mostly you're doing your own thing and creating your own works of art, but especially when everybody's going for the triangle cards, then it can be like, okay, well, they took the cards that I wanted. That can happen a little bit. Also, the inspiration tokens, if someone's hoarding all of those, they'll eventually, the way it works, it never seems like people hoard them for long. You end up wanting to spend them to get something, so they kind of get reshuffled around. But I mean, it is a competitive game, and you're going for the most points, but no one ever really seems to have hurt feelings at the end of the game. Sometimes the cards, it works out how you wanted. Sometimes it doesn't quite work out as much as you did, but it's so fun to create the works of art that I think that really mitigates disappointment. Even if you lose the game, you're like, oh, I didn't get quite as many points, but look at these things that I made. They're so fun and interesting. The replay value is medium to high. I would say it's higher if you play with fewer players. This is much better with 2 to 3 players, I would say, is optimal. When you play with 5, it gets kind of bogged down because one person is making a decision on their turn, and you kind of shuffle around your cards to see what to do with them, but you're kind of just waiting. And maybe some people are better at that than I am, but if I'm just sitting there, I'm bored and I want the game to get going. So if you play with a lower player count, and then it fits easily within my favorite 20 minutes to play a game, which I think is really nice. So if you play with fewer people, then there's higher replay value that helps to keep the game moving. Similar games, if you just really love these kinds of cards, which we certainly do, Dragon Parks is very similar to Draftosaurus, and it's made by the same game company, and you have these clear cards and you are layering them on top of each other to make your own dragon park, and there's dragons and eggs are hatching, and you have to have sheep to feed the dragons, and it's really cute. It's more of a kid-friendly version of this, but it's good for adults too. It's a really fun, cute theme. And then if you like this kind of strategic level of gameplay, especially with the more advanced rules, I'd recommend Trails. The canvas is to art as trails is to nature. It's the short follow-up version to parks. And you are just going back and forth, moving your little character along and collecting resources and using them to strategically buy cards that give you points at the end. So it kind of has sort of the same feel and level of strategy, and we enjoyed a lot. But Canvas has been a lot of fun. It's been my go-to game lately to show off for people when they come over to play games because it is so cool. So I hope you check it out. Thanks, and see you next time from Game Like a Mother.